Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the React State Management series. So today we'll be discussing about the use reducer. The last video we talked about the use state, and we mentioned how that the use state is component scope just limited to a particular component. And today we'll be taking a look at the use reducer, which is a more defined method of managing states in React application. So the use reducer basically gives us a more defined structure for states and also helps us to create a copy of a state and then update the states, then return the updated states to the application. So without wasting so much time, I'll be spending the next 7 to 8 minutes to explain in details how the use reducer work, and by the end of this video you will not need any other video to understand the use reducer hook. So this is basically what we have yesterday. So I'm just going to import the use reducer hook. Going to import the use reducer hook. So and then we can let's remove all of this for now. Then remove all of this for now. So we're going to have state, then this patch is equal to use reducer. So now if you take a look, we'll observe that this has the same structure with the use states that we considered yesterday, where we have like the actual state being returned, and then we have a function, this the dispatch, that is used to update the state. But as opposed to the use states, the use reducer requires 3 arguments, and out of those 3, 2 are very important, which is one, the reducer function, and then you also need the initial state. Now the way we use reducer works is that there is a reducer function which takes in the actual state, or like the states, and then the action to be performed. Then based on the action, it takes a copy of the state, then modifies the copy, and then returns the particular state, then overrides the states in the application. So without taking too much time, let's just look at it. So we are going to create a reducer function to basically recreate the same feature or the same stuff we built yesterday. So I'm just going to have const reducer is equal to. So now this reducer function is going to take 2 things. We have the state, and now the state is obviously a number, which is the count, and then we have the action, and now the action can either be an increment or it is a decrement. Then we are going to have switch. So for the action, then case. So in case it is an increment, we want to return the state plus 1. So in the case that it is a decrement, we want to return the state minus 1. Then by default, just return the state. So yeah, so we have written the basic reducer function already. So I'm going to pass in the reducer function. So first, let's explain. The reducer function takes in the state, which is like the number or like the count that we are considering, and then an action. So based on this action, it is able to like define how the state is being modified. It takes a copy of the state. I was talking about immutability. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah, this is basically how I like to use reducer. The state pattern that use reducer works on, just like Redux pattern, works on immutability. So it takes a copy of the state, modifies that copy, and then overrides the states with that really modified copy. So the action basically defines what the mutation are we going to perform to this state. So based on the action, it modifies the state. So this is the basic reducer function that we have created. We're going to pass it to the use reducer, and then I'm going to pass an initial state. So let the initial state count be 0. So we are going to have our state here. display our state, and then we are going to have a button, let's say increase, then on click we are going to dispatch with increments, and copy the same thing, then on click you're going to dispatch with decrement, and say decrease. Don't mind the styling, there's no styling, I just want to focus on the actual logic, so I'm not styling this. So let's run this application. So okay, so we can see it's working. Can increase, then decrease, increase, and then like that. So we are able to recreate the same exact functionality that we have yesterday, and I'm just going to give a brief rundown. So like I said earlier, the useReducer hook is a way to manage more defined states. So in the reducer function, we could have more complex states. We could have like an actual object, like an object containing lot of data, and then it is actually more easier to modify the data because here we are working based on immutability, and this is how like Redux state management works. But we don't have to focus about that, I already mentioned. So like I've said multiple times, it takes a copy of the state, modifies that state, and then returns the modified state, and with that modified state the actual state of the application is overridden. So that is about useReducer hook, and then you can see how it functions similarly to the use state. We have the state or the getter, like returns the actual state, and then a dispatch to update or modify the state. So that is basically it about the useReducer hook. I hope this helps you or helped you understand the concept of a useReducer hook. In the next lesson, we are going to be looking at more methods or more means to managing state, and more complex means to managing state in a React application. Thank you and stay tuned. So if you enjoyed the video, please ensure to subscribe and then leave a like. Bye.